Okay, what if I told you that there's this silent crisis happening in workplaces all over the world? And no, it's not about the economy or some new technology. It's about something we all feel every day: engagement. Now, this is so much more than just being happy at your job. It's that deep, emotional connection to what you do, and it can literally make or break a company, and maybe even your own career. So let's dive into this engagement crisis.
I want to start with a really simple but very direct question, and I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. Are you genuinely looking forward to work tomorrow? I mean, really? Your answer, whatever it might be, really gets to the very heart of what we're talking about today.
If you hesitated, or if your answer was a flat-out no, well, you're in the majority, by a long shot. Because according to decades of research from Gallup, only 21% of employees around the globe feel truly engaged at their jobs. That's it. Just over 1 in 5 people feel that real connection and excitement for their work.
That number means that almost 80% of the global workforce is, let's be blunt, just not engaged. They're either just showing up, putting in the time, completely disconnected psychologically, or they fall into an even worse category that can be actively harmful to their workplace. This isn't just some small problem. It's a massive, hidden drain on human potential.
So, to really get a handle on this, we've got to be crystal clear on what engagement actually means. This isn't about having a ping-pong table in the break room or free snacks. It's way, way deeper than that.
So Gallup's official definition is the involvement and enthusiasm of employees. And those two words are everything. It's not just about being physically present. It's about being mentally and emotionally invested. You know, it's the difference between just collecting a paycheck and actually caring about the work that you do every day.
Engaged employees. These are the ones Gallup calls psychological owners. Think about that. They act like they own the place. They're the ones who take initiative, they push for new ideas, and they are truly committed to moving the whole organization forward. They're the people who will stay a little late to get something done, not because a boss told them to, but because they want to see it succeed.
Okay, now for the biggest group by far, the not engaged. These are the people who are just there. They're psychologically unattached. They clock in, they do what's asked, and they clock out. They're putting in their time, but not their passion or their best ideas. Sure, the work gets done, but it's all about compliance, not real commitment. And then we get to the actively disengaged. Now, these employees aren't just unhappy or checked out, they are resentful. They feel like their needs aren't being met, and they actually act on that unhappiness. This is the person who might spend their day complaining, spreading negativity, and maybe even undermining the great work their engaged colleagues are trying to do. So you've got these three groups: the engaged, the not engaged, and the actively disengaged. But what does all of this actually mean for a business's bottom line? I mean, who cares, right? Well, this is where we shift from just talking about feelings to talking about real hard numbers. Engagement is not some fluffy, nice-to-have thing. It's a critical driver of performance.
When Gallup ran the numbers and compared the most engaged teams with the least engaged teams, wow. The differences in business outcomes were just staggering. We're talking about massive gaps in pretty much every area you can measure. Let's look at some of the actual figures.
For starters, highly engaged teams are on average 23% more profitable. Just think about that for a second. The emotional commitment of your people has a direct, measurable impact on the financial health of the entire company.
And they're just more reliable. Teams with high engagement have a staggering 78% lower rate of absenteeism. That means people are actually showing up, they're focused, and they're consistently contributing to the mission.
And that positive energy, it radiates outward. It affects your customers. These teams achieve 10% higher customer loyalty. It makes sense, right? When your employees are invested and happy, your customers can feel it.
Okay, so the data is crystal clear. Engagement drives serious results, which leads to the big question: whose job is it to fix this? Is this an HR problem? Does it fall on the employees themselves? Or is it up to the leaders at the very top? Well, the real answer is kind of all of the above. It's a shared mission, but the weight of that mission isn't shared equally.
It really is a shared mission. You know, executives, they have to set the vision and really walk the walk from the top. And individual employees, well, they have to take some ownership in communicating what they need to succeed. But there's one role that stands head and shoulders above all the others, and its impact.
And this, right here, is probably the most important takeaway. According to Gallup's research, a full 70% of the difference in a team's engagement is determined solely by one person.
the manager. Your direct boss is the single most important factor in how engaged you feel at work. Period.
So if the manager is the key, how do they unlock a team's potential? Well, the good news is there's a proven roadmap. This isn't about guesswork or feel-good pizza parties. It's about systematically meeting the core human needs that we all have at work.
Gallup's model is basically a hierarchy, kind of like a pyramid. You have to build a solid foundation first. It all starts with your basic needs. What do I get? This is about having the clear expectations and the right tools to actually do your job. Only when that's covered can you move up to the individual level. What do I give? This is where you feel seen and recognized for your personal contributions. From there, you get to teamwork. Do I belong? Feeling like you're a valued part of a team you trust. And finally, you reach the very top, growth. How can I grow? This is all about having opportunities to learn and develop yourself. You can't just skip a level. Each one builds on the last. Now, this might sound incredibly, almost laughably simple, but it is the absolute foundation of everything. This is the very first question in Gallup's big survey. If an employee can't say yes to this with 100% confidence, if they're even a little fuzzy on what their role is, none of the other higher-level stuff can ever take root. It all starts here.
And this one brilliantly shows that next level of need. It's about being seen as an individual. Are you in a position to use your natural talents? You see, great managers don't waste time trying to fix people's weaknesses. They act like talent scouts. They get to know their people and then put them in positions where their strengths can shine. This is a huge, huge driver of engagement.
Ultimately, when you look at all this research, what it's pointing to is this fundamental shift in the very contract between an employee and their employer. The old model? It's obsolete. It's just not enough anymore to get a paycheck, to be satisfied, or to have a boss who tells you what to do. The modern worker, what we all need, is purpose, continuous development, and a coach, not a boss, who actually helps us grow. It's not just about having a job anymore. It's about building a life.
So we're going to end right where we began, with a question for you. Think about your own career, your own team, maybe your own company. Is it designed around that old contract, a paycheck in exchange for your time, or is it built on the new one, a place that helps you fulfill your purpose? Because honestly, the answer to that one question, it could change everything.